Are you ready to see some real pros fighting server fires? I'm Matt with Cloud War Games, and today I have footage from our last live event where cloud engineers and DevOps pros try their hand at fixing server fires on AWS that I intentionally create. This allows them to sharpen their skills and showcase their abilities. If you're interested in participating in one of these, check out the link in the description. With that said, let's see some introductions. Hi, I'm Matt with Schematical. Welcome to Cloud War Games. All right, today on Cloud War Games, we will be doing several scenarios. We're going to be doing an intermediate scenario first, then a beginner scenario, and then an advanced scenario. And if we have time at the end, I have invited some of my colleagues here to war game me. So that should be interesting. With that said, sorry, everybody, we'll do a brief, quick introduction. Who are you? What are your experiences with AWS? And what, if anything, are your goals, or what are you trying to get out of this? I'm Matt with Schematical. I've been doing this since 2010. I've burnt down a lot of servers. My clients range from companies in the Fortune 5,000 to e-commerce companies. If they go down, they lose $100,000 an hour, and I'm the first guy they call. Also, I've got a course coming out on O'Reilly on the 27th, AWS Zero to Hero Security, an animated guide to security in the cloud. As far as what I'm trying to get out of this, I don't know. I enjoy blowing stuff up, and I think this is cool, and I'm trying to make it into a business. Jonathan, you want to roll?
Hey, I'm Jonathan. I've been working in AWS for nearly since I met Matt Lee 10 years ago. Taught me everything I know. I am here to basically help Matt do this as much as I can, and then also just to learn and have fun, to be honest, because it's a pretty good time.
For the record, you taught me some stuff too. I think you Dockerized stuff before I did, so you showed me how that worked. So, Leo, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Leo. I'm working on the AWS for 3 years now, and mostly on networks topic. And I'm here because I think it's fun. It's a good way to learn, improve skills. So glad to be here with you guys.
Thank you. Juan?
Hey guys. So I've been working with AWS for about 4 years. I'm a full stack developer, but the projects I've been working in have been deployed to AWS. And I hope to sharpen my troubleshooting skills because it's always nice to be fast finding out issues in production. And that's it. Thank you.
Juan, I got to get you like an avatar or something that looks cool. I know you don't like having your camera on, but you're like the only person I think I'm going to let ever slide with that. So I got to get you at least a cool
the camera
avatar.
on.
Yeah. What?
I can enable the camera.
All right. I thought you've never enabled a camera on me in what, 3 years we've been working together? I've never seen you except the photos.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. There you go. Cool.
Nice.
There you go. All right. I got to send you some merch. Then you can be sporting more merch too. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
You never requested that.
So before I kick this off,
I also have my friend Kelly here.
oh, hey, how's it going?
Hey, I just jumped in.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? What is your experience with AWS DevOps, and what's your aspirations in your career?
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm Kelly. I've worked as a data scientist for about the last 5 years. I haven't had a whole lot of AWS exposure in that, mostly because my company's got a lot of cyber lockdown. But I have developed a few systems on it, small they are, but I've been studying AWS now for a little bit too. So talking with Jonathan a lot about it, pretty excited about this platform and what you're trying to do right now with this. And so happy to be here, and to have aspirations are to learn and hopefully be able to contribute some.
Wonderful. All right, cool. I'm going to share my screen here for a second. So now that we've got the introductions out of the way, pay close attention to what I'm about to change here, all right? Look very closely at the URL. Don't get confused by any side notes, okay? Take a close look, because I'm about to knock the website over. Here we go. I've got good news. If you remember last week, I had only had www.explodeme.com up and running. I got explodeme.com up and running, but please work, or technically please don't work. www.explodeme.com is indeed not working. I guess I should have asked, who wants to drive this one? This is the intermediate one. But www.explodeme.com is broken. Explodeme.com, I'll leave that to you guys to find out. Who wants to drive?
I can do it. Yeah.
As a reminder, the other contestants are welcome to go ahead and poke through and make suggestions. It's all about collaboration.
Okay. I see this issue, but not sure this is the one that we should fix, or is something else going on?
I think that is probably the issue. The
Certificate?
So, yeah.
So probably I think this is expired. So expired. So okay, the certificate is not expired, but maybe there is some mismatch between the domains.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well.
So right here, I want you to notice they went straight to the browser. They saw in the browser that the certificate was indeed a mismatch. For a second there, they thought it was expired, but it was a mismatch. So that means that the SSL certificate that's generated via ACM was not the right SSL cert. But why? And how do you fix it?
I have been not familiar with the details, but I think it's for this domain.
You are correct.
DPT. So there is a mismatch here. Okay. So there is a service called Certificate Manager in AWS. That's where we generate the certificates. So we have two certificates, split test, gpt.com, and this one. So probably this is the one linked to the service. We should just link this one. And I think the place where we link the certificate, from what I've seen, is the load balancer. I'm not sure if it's on Route 53 as well, but one place where I set up certificates is on the application load balancer. But it could be on Route 53 as well. So let's check both places.
So I'll just chime in with one thing is that I'm pretty sure the website for www.explodeme.com is being served from CloudFront.
Okay, yeah, so probably it's just some, yes, Azure.
But I could be wrong by that because there's also API gateway at play, and I'm not sure exactly where it's configured for the TLS termination.
Now, before I go any further, put your guesses in the comments as to where would you go from here. Jonathan said, let's check out CloudFront. Is that wrong? Is that right? How would you diagnose this? Let me know in the comments, all right? I'm dying to find out. Go ahead, hit pause. I'll wait. I'll be right here.
Yeah, we should have a CloudFront domain for that site. Let's check. Okay. I think we only have one distribution. There is only one.
Yeah.
And this comes from, I think this is where the static assets are stored. It seems to be okay with the static assets. So this should be the distribution. The CloudFront, this one should be the distribution. I'm wondering if I do this.
So I'm just going to take us back to the briefing that I should have probably shoved in your guys' faces more. The static assets are stored in S3 and served up by CloudFront. The website, the server-side website rendering and all that stuff that makes up the back end and sends up front end is going through API gateway. The hint I'm going to give you is pay very specific attention to the host's name that is currently throwing an error.
Okay.
The static assets are not served up from www.explodeme.com, just to be clear.
Okay. So basically this is a server-side rendered page, explodeme.com.
The one the URL, that one is server-side rendered by a Lambda.
Okay. So
yeah, there is nothing at the root of that S3 bucket, which is why you're getting that error, but I probably should stop giving you too many hints now. So it was right here where I corrected them. They were going down a rabbit hole. For some reason, they got it in their heads that it was in CloudFront. During the design brief, which I did beforehand, I explained that all the static assets, CSS, JavaScript, etc., images were all stored in CloudFront. But if we go back to that very beginning part, it was not a problem with that. It was a problem with www.explodeme.com specifically. And they knew that was going to API gateway into a Lambda. Now, the reason they got confused is that both CloudFront and API gateway live in what's called the edge networks, and they share certain resources. That means they live outside of the normal availability zones that you get when you sign up for AWS and boot up, say, an ECS task or an EC2 instance. So I could see why it gets confused. The URLs are very similar, but got to keep that in mind. Whenever you're fighting fires in the cloud, go back to your diagrams, your network diagrams, double check how things are laid out. After that, they got focused again and got right back to attacking the real problem.
Yeah, I think in custom domain names, you find something. Or Explode.me is fine.
Want the other one just because.
Yeah, I think you want to double check the certificate used for this one. You can directly click edit the endpoint configuration. Yeah, that's domain details. I think endpoint configuration would do the trick.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
There you go.
Complete.
All right. So they did it. They found it. It was a misconfigured custom domain name, API gateway custom domain name to be specific. So you can choose what ACM cert you want to use to decode the domain. If I switch explodeme.com's ACM cert or SSL cert to another one that doesn't match, it blows up, which is good. That means the internet's telling you don't go here, it's not secure, it's the wrong certificate. That's how we protect you from criminals pretending to be other websites and stealing your credit card numbers. And they nailed it. Took them a second, got a little lost, a little sidetracked, but they figured it out. Now, did you figure it out? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Be honest with me. Did you figure it out? I'll know. No, I won't. Back to the video.
Somebody verbalize the change and I'll make it.
So basically, the issue is that there is a wrong certificate attached to the API gateway. So we just need to correct the mismatch. So instead of using the certificate for the split test, we just use the one for explodeme.com in the API gateway.
And if you refresh that page, it should be fixed now. And then it'll propagate out to www.explodeme.com in minutes. Yep. All right, go ahead and refresh www.explodeme.com.
After every event, we want to do an after action report to see how we could have improved it. That's how we learn and grow from it. So what would you have done differently? What would you have changed? What would you have done differently? I'm dying to know. Let's hear what they have to say first.
So after action report, any thoughts, guys? Any way we could have solved that faster? Anything that you guys would have done differently?
Just remembering that the website is actually served via an API gateway.
Yeah,
VPN would help.
maybe, yeah, because maybe there is a way to know that from the request or something.
When I get thrown in the deep end with an existing infrastructure, because this happens a lot with my business, they say, come in, do an audit on AWS. One of the first things I do is track in from the DNS and work my way backwards. So every single time I'd be like, what's the host name? Find the DNS. And so, okay, now this posts to this service. I always double check DNS and Route 53 to be like, where's it actually going? That's my thoughts.
One of the things that threw me off was just I haven't configured a Route 53 domain for API gateway, and probably since we worked on together, Matt. And it just threw me off because it shows as like a CloudFront domain in Route 53.
Yeah. I do understand that. That's very annoying, but they share similar edge networks with the problem. So yeah, I can understand that. I actually thought of that when I put this one together, thinking that you'd be doing the more advanced one or something like that. So yeah, I was like, I know you and Juan said last time that you didn't have much API gateway experience. So I didn't mean to stump you with that, but it's just much cheaper for me to host an API gateway in Lambdas than it is to have an ECS instance running 24/7.
So that is the end of the first scenario for this live event. The others should be getting released soon. There's 2 more that are coming, a beginner and an advanced. If you are interested in participating in one of these events, sign up using the link in the show notes here, or go to cloudwargames.com. We have another one this Friday, so get signed up as soon as possible. Looking forward to burning down some servers with you. Thank you to everyone that participated. We all had a blast. With that said, I'm Matt with Schematical. Have a great day.